What up, what up, what up? How are y'all doing? I'm doing great as always. Just checking in about this weekend in boxing. I did a video yesterday about the UK card and what I thought about everything going on with the whole UK back to boxing, but I have to do another video tonight because I was going to do one big video, but uh, Lopez situation really caught my attention, and what's going on with him in his next fight. And 9 times out of 10, I agree with the fighter, and I certainly don't agree with Bob Arum. But it's a little bit crazy what Lopez is demanding here. Uh, First off, before he fought Lomachenko, uh, his uh, his money for a regular defense of a title, if he had one, was 125,000. Now, before he fought Lomachenko, he wanted to renegotiate those numbers. So he did. He went into renegotiations with Bob Arum, and this was just his last fight before the Lomachenko fight. So he went into negotiations, and this is what he agreed to. He agreed that if he fought Lomachenko and lost, right? If he lost to Lomachenko, and later on down the line he picked up a belt elsewhere, his fee would be 500,000 instead of the 125,000 that it was. That's a little incentive to fight Loma. Even if you lose, bump up your minimum pay. And if you win, which he did, it's going to be 1.25 million. He agreed to that before his last fight. And now he wants to act like he's a pay-per-view star, and it's like crazy. And his next fight that's due to come is Kambosos, who's a decent fighter, but he wants to get paid for that fight like he's fighting one of the other kings. Davis, Haney, Garcia, Loma. Who am I missing? There's another one in there. No, he's a fourth one. So yeah, he wants more than his 1.25 to fight Kambosos. Now, if it was a pay-per-view fight, you would get more if it sold. But you're signed to ESPN. It's pretty much a streaming platform, ESPN Plus. Unless you're fighting Haney or Garcia or Tank Davis, then those fights would probably be pay-per-view, which would mean that you would get a percentage of the total ownership of the fight, with the total amount of money the fight brings in. But you're fighting Kambosos, and you just agreed to that contract, 1.25. So fight Kambosos for your minimum, and get the fight on. Fight this fight on ESPN Plus, the platform that's built you and made you to what you are today, and just whoop his ass, and then move on to the big fights. Get your mandatory out of the way. But you can't fight Kambosos and expect any platform to pay you $5 million. I mean, that's absurd. And of course, ESPN had him on the fight card, and he had a weird interview with Mark Kriegel. It was like trying to be like LeBron. I'm gonna bring my talents to South Beach, and I hate to say it, nobody's gonna bid $5 million for that fight. It's just not gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen. And Bob Arum's right in this case. I never agree with Bob Arum, and a lot of fighters don't. Mikey Garcia, Floyd Mayweather, Oscar De La Hoya, Miguel Cotto, they all end up having issues with Bob Arum. And maybe because Bob Arum says, well, you signed a contract, so fight for it. It's just like an NFL football player sign a 5-year deal, a brand new contract, and after the first year, he has a good year. and then he comes back to camp and he holds out. No, I'm not going to play for that contract I just agreed to. That's exactly what's going on here. Lopez and his team agreed. If he beat Lomachenko, his minimum would be 1.25 for a title defense. Well, I think you should fight for that on ESPN against Kambosos. And once you beat him, you will get more money to fight the likes of Garcia, Haney, Davis. That's how it should work. But yeah, it was very weird, and I think Lopez is banking on DAZN putting big money down. And the funny thing about that, you gotta love Bob Arum sometimes. He goes, "Yeah, I don't think Eddie will bid on that fight." And whoever was interviewing was like, "Why do you say that?" He's like, "Well, he doesn't want to ruffle any feathers. We're in the middle of an AJ Fury negotiation." And it's just like a little subliminal, like, "Hey, Eddie, don't be a bonehead. Don't screw me on this one. Don't risk the biggest fight in boxing to have a headliner on one of your cards, Teofimo and Kambosos." And yeah, I saw another interview with Lou DiBella, Kambosos' manager or promoter, whatever he is for him, and he was like, "Hey, if you can't fight either one of the other big names, then fight Kambosos. What is this holding out and going to purse bids for? I mean, what are you gonna get? A couple extra 100,000 if someone else wins, and then you're gonna have to fight on their platform, and it's gonna be all new to you. Might as well just fight for your minimum on ESPN, the platform that's been pushing you this whole time." So that's my thoughts on that. But yeah, it was just weird how they had Teofimo Lopez in the bubble at the fight when he wasn't promoting anything. Like, I really don't know why he was there. Like, I understand if you were announcing a fight, yeah, come on in. We'll have a segment with you on TV. But the segment he had was just Mark Kriegel, like, pretty much putting him under the hot seat. Like, what are you doing, guy? Why not fight for this? And the numbers Lopez wants to fight Kambosos is ridiculous. The numbers he's asking for, really, should be the numbers he gets for fighting, Tank Davis, Haney, Garcia. So I think ESPN blew him up a little bit too much, and Lopez's head is a little bit inflated. He needs to come back down to earth here. And if you're not going to be in the big fights, you can't get the big money. That's how I see it. So, Moore's House. Holla at your boy. Peace. See y'all soon.